Now, you just heard from Brad Conway, Cindy and George Anthony's lawyer. Yesterday, Brad was the one, as he just noted, who called 911 to report that George was missing.
911, what is your emergency?
I'm George and Cindy Anthony's attorney.
Okay.
George Anthony has been gone since 8:30 this morning, and he has taken several bottles of medication from his house, as well as some pictures, and we're worried that he's done something to himself.
Okay.
John Allen advised that I call 911 right away and get a deputy over here to take a report.
You know, okay, you said he had a couple bottles of medication.
Yep.
Do you know what kind of medication it was?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, are any weapons missing?
No.
Okay.
But he had a weapon that was confiscated, so.
Okay, but nothing that he had on his person or in the house, correct? I just want to verify.
No.
Okay.
WOFL reporter Patrick Pegues joins us live in front of Halifax Medical Center, where George Anthony is being treated. Patrick, what can you tell me about can you fill any details about how long George was at that motel before the police arrived?
Well, investigators with Daytona Beach Police believe that he checked in around 7 o'clock yesterday evening, but it wasn't until about 1 o'clock when they were able to track him down, as you've been talking about. They used GPS and cell phone tower pings to track him down within around a 2.5-mile radius of the cell phone tower. Then police just started fanning out. Daytona Beach Police, as well as Orange County Sheriff's deputies, who actually came out in their SWAT and tactical gear, because when they issued their BOLO, which is a be on the lookout command out here, they believe that George Anthony may have been armed. So Orange County deputies showed up in their tactical gear, although Daytona Beach Police were just in their regular patrol cars, and they eventually spotted his vehicle in the parking lot of a motel here in an area of town called the Ridgewood Corridor. At least that's how the police described it. They saw his car right in the first parking space, so that's when they decided to gather up there and figure out what to do next. And basically, the police chief and several other officers just went up and knocked on George Anthony's door.
And was he responsive? I mean, there was some medicine missing, a suggestion of some alcohol. Had he actually been drinking and taking the medication? Was he agreeable to go with them?
Well, I'll start with what you just asked, the last question, and really no. When Police Chief Mike Chitwood knocked on the door, he says George Anthony recognized him. Chief Chitwood is often in the news here for some of the things he says and some of the things that he does. So George Anthony was familiar with him. He said, you know, hey, I needed to get away. I needed to think. I needed to clear my head. I'm fine. You guys can leave. Well, because police can't just do that when they get a 911 call like this for someone that is considered to be missing and endangered because of the fact that they have these medications, that they're possibly armed. So Police Chief Mike Chitwood and another lieutenant, they spoke with George Anthony for quite some time, trying to convince him to go to the hospital, not really giving him any choice. They didn't force him to leave, but they really wanted to let him know that he needed to be evaluated because they were concerned about him, that his family was concerned about him based on some of the text messages that they had been receiving. So they were able to convince him to go to the hospital, but he would only go in Chief Chitwood's car. So they loaded him up in his car, and then they came here to the hospital, brought him to the emergency room. We've since learned that he's been moved to a regular room, but will have to remain here under Florida's Baker Act law for at least the next 72 hours.
Patrick, thank you. On the Record is on the ground in Florida. Earlier, our producer Justin Wells spoke with the owner of the Hawaii Motel in Daytona, where George Anthony was found.
My wife said he was just a normal guy, you know, well dressed and everything, you know, and asked for how the weather was and where the pizza place was, a nice pizza place you can go to, you know. He just had a normal, you know, conversation and everything, did nothing out of the ordinary. Everything was normal. Did he say why he was here at all, or no? No, he was just didn't want to travel all the way back to Orlando today, yesterday night, I mean, and then because he had something he wanted to do here this morning. Were you guys alerted when the police came at all, or did they just show up all of a sudden? The police came and then they wanted the key for open the room, so they took the key from me. They wanted to see who owned the car, and then I showed them the cards, and this is the guy they wanted. So that's all I know is they went to that room, and the guy, he must have opened up the room, and so then they talked to him and took him to the hospital.
George Anthony came late in the afternoon, and he got his keys, and he checked in, went into room 106. When he got inside, he came in, and obviously it's pretty much a typical motel room. You've got a queen-size bed, pretty empty, pretty basic hotel room, phone, all of that. And then from his bed looking out at the window, his car was probably right out there. From here, it was just a knock at the door early in the morning. He looked out, and there were police.